All right, so this video I entitled "Birds of a Feather," which I don't know if maybe you that one person who doesn't know this out of the few people who do watch my videos, but birds of a feather means birds of a feather flock together, which means pretty much like attracts like. And one big thing, so I'm 33 now. One big thing that I missed when I was younger, when I was, pretty much before 30, is to notice the quality of a female's friends, depending on what you're trying to do with this female. Now, personally, I've always been like this. Either I talk to a woman either in means of starting like a letting a genuine relationship form, and pretty much my history of speaking with women is usually been long-term intentions of long-term relationships, or pretty much just use her as a prostitute and throw her out. I've never done the whole friends with benefits thing. I've never done the, oh, hey, I kind of know you, yeah, we'll have sex next Tuesday, then I've never done that. I've never been that type of, and I've never craved that. Except like there's very rare scenarios where I would actually crave it. Like the girl would have to be like just right for me to like actively kind of want that. But in most cases, usually pretty much I'm either trying to get married or use a hooker. That's pretty much the two solo paths that I've always had with women. Now, a part that I missed in my earlier years of doing this is I did not recognize the birds of a feather situation. Meaning, so let's say if I'm looking for a woman who, and I'm looking for a legitimate, committed, not like an immediate marriage at the end of the week or anything, but like a genuine, respected relationship, that's consistent, and it's there's loyalty in the relationship. If I say I'm going to be somewhere, I'm going to be somewhere. If you say you're going to be somewhere, you're going to be somewhere. None of this like game playing, or I don't have to feel like I have to like walk on eggshells with you when I talk to you type of thing. One thing I missed is when looking for a woman in this scenario is this: paying attention to what kind of friends she had, what kind of company she keeps, and usually more importantly, what kind of friends she has. Because what I found is, okay, and pay attention to these dynamics in your life. Now, remember look back at all the women who've been, married for 20, 30 years, right? Look at the quality women that they hang out with. See, these women who are married for 20, 30 years, or let's just say women who can habitually keep men around, and it legitimately looks healthy. It's not because she's, stringing them along for sex or something like that, but they genuinely appear to be genuinely, decent people in a relationship. Watch the types of women that she hangs out with. You see, this is where the birds of a feather thing really kicks in. And women are really, I guess it can be looked at as really great, and it can be looked at as really bad for this. It depends on how you look at it. But the woman who's in a dedicated relationship a lot of times, and who's always had dedicated relationships, who's known, they've been friends with people for 10, 15 years, things like that. See, these women do not mingle well with like strippers, hookers, or regular whores that are always on Tinder. See, like these two women do not mix. And it's almost the same. Well, men go both ways, but usually women, because of what women's nature is in the dating market, women's nature is always to be jealous of something else for getting more of what it wants, type of thing, if that makes sense. Like a woman, so let's say like the housewives will look at the stripper. See, both of those have more than enough reasons to be jealous over each other. So they can never, ever be friends. Like, because the stripper, she secretly wants a man who genuinely loves her. And the housewife wants to be, sexy. So both of them, they have more than enough reason to look at each other and say, I want what you got and I can't have it. So when women get to that point, they just don't like it. It's just their nature to do it. And this is something that I never paid attention to when I was younger. paying attention to the quality of friends, because there's other situations. Let's say like let's say like a woman, she works in a call center, but she has, she has a friend who, dances and strips. She has another friend who, you come to find out from talking to her, another friend, she prostitutes. Because I can't tell you how many times I've come across this from talking to women. And I have a certain way about conversing with women where they'll I have a certain way with conversing with people in real life where they'll share with me like very deep things very quickly. And I've always been like this. This is why I took on my profession. I've always, for some reason, like I don't know how I do it, but it's just like I have a certain way of getting people to tell me very deep things, or very, things that you usually don't tell people, at least right away. And one thing is this I usually come across when I speak to certain women is that many average women prostitute. Many average women do it, many more than you would think. They actively do it, and they're fully aware of it. I'm thinking of one right now when I had to rent a car, when I think either I hit somebody or somebody hit me. And I had to get a rental car, and I ended up talking to this rental car girl, and she was telling me how her friends they prostitute. They do it. Like more women than you would think actively prostitute. See, and with that being said, if a woman has a friend who does this, you see, usually the only way that women can be friends with women that do stuff like this is because they can rationalize doing it, and they probably would do it if the situation came up, and they feel like they can act like they can't do it. Now, when I say they feel like they can do it, see, there's different degrees of feeling like they can do it. So, okay, one situation, I remember I was actually watching this podcast. I don't know if you could watch a podcast. It was like a video, a vlog or something. I don't know, but I was watching these girls talk about prostitutes. And the girl's like, yeah, I prostitute myself $15,000. See, like, no, see, like that's not what I mean by she sees herself as she can do it. What I mean she can do it is to mean she, like, there's a certain way you have to know how to read women to know if she can do it. You see, there's a certain way. It's kind of like how you can like see that somebody's a killer or like a molester or something. It's that same thing. Like you can see that they can do it. You feel it in just how they are. Like if they were very friendly or something, like you could feel it. Yeah, I could see Sarah being a hooker. See, those women, and like I said, and these are some of the anomalies, because maybe Sarah in this reality, maybe she, for some reason, maybe she has a decent job, or maybe she doesn't know how to go out there and initiate the prostitution transaction. There's a lot of women have that problem, because a lot of guys don't want to just walk up to a random girl, in Walmart and say, hey, can I fuck you for $50? Now, you see what I'm saying? So like, there's this whole dilemma. Then other women, they'll happily do it as long as they have a pimp. They'll more than have it. I'd say, and I'm on a side tangent here, but I'd say at least 5 out of 10 women would happily prostitute as long as they knew that they would be safe. There was somebody watching them to make sure the guy didn't, beat her up or something. But back to the original topic, birds of a feather flock together. This is why you never see, like, I'm talking like pure women who are, they get married and they're all about their husband, they're all about their family. This is why you don't see them. If a hooker came in, if a hooker looking woman came and knocked on this woman's door, she would probably wouldn't answer the door, or answer the door and say, what do you want? And close. See, they can't be friends, you see. So if a woman, if you're talking to a woman in hopes of like long-term relationships, and she's telling you stories about her friends, and her friends are the types of women who, they can't keep a man around, whatever man they do get, he just dogs her out and treats her like crap. He never calls, never comes around until it's like 12 a.m. or something like that. If you're finding, if this girl that you're talking to, you're hoping like to get a relationship out of, like her girlfriends are like this, they're just promiscuous. They're always trying to beat the system and try to get over on a man and try to get a house out of him and all. See, if she's telling you all this, like, just look, Okay, what I would do is I would just ignore, okay? Because personally, once I've registered a woman into like long-term relationship area, I can't take her out and then put her in hooker area. You see, like I can't, my brain can't, it can't cross the two. Like, and see, and I think that this is a problem. See, because and this is really a man problem because see, women don't have this problem because women genuinely don't care about sex. It's nothing to them, especially by the time they're 20, 25, because they've been getting pounded out since they were 12 and 13. So by the time they're, 20, this is old news unless they, hook up with, a 10 out of 10 guy. It just does nothing for them. Women see the reason why women can pick up, women can always pick up long-term relationship and put them in fuck buddy territory, but women cannot take friend zone guy and put him in the fuck buddy territory unless she's just like super beaten down in life and has kids and gained a bunch of weight and got over 30. Then she can try it, but she still doesn't like it, but she can try it. But yeah, see, and a big problem that women have in this scenario, because see, most women want to be treated like most women have this mixture of wanting to be treated like a princess, treated like a daughter, and then fucked like a dirty fucking dead diseased dog in a back alley, like how another dog would fuck it. They want all that at the same time, and which is for them is okay, but for men, most men, our brains don't cross over like that. Either you've got to be in one category or another category. We can't, when it comes to like, involving our heart with a woman, we can't make the housewife the whore. Like we just can't even get off the same way with our wife that we can with a whore. Like the sex is always going to be better with a whore. Because we could just think dirty, no matter how dirty our wife can be sexually. It's like, this is our wife. It's the hierarchy we have in our brain of it. But see, women, they don't have this. They don't like, because like sex is nothing but just rubbing to them. So they don't have, for them, it's more about just the excitement of watching you squirm and, and wanting to jump on them for them. That's what it, and it's that reassurance that, yeah, a man still wants me. That's a lot of it is really, for that. I mean, it does feel a little good, but feeling good doesn't really, the physical feel good doesn't do a whole lot. In the long term of it. And on the flip side, like I said, let's say like with a prostitute, you're not gonna like if you go out and start hanging out with hookers, you're gonna see that all their friends are gonna be hookers or just lower tier women working, hooker. Okay, all of them are gonna do hooking in some way, either or they're gonna entertain the thought of hooking. But you're not gonna you're very rarely gonna come across a bunch of high quality women hanging out with that hooker. Very rarely. Very rarely. When I say hooker, I mean like flat out hooker. I mean like flat out asking you for money strictly in exchange for sex. That type of hooker. Not like the regular hookers, like regular women. I think all women are hookers. And when you boil it down to it, it's all gonna come back down to prostitution. If you boil down everything, the whole transaction between a man and a woman, this is what it's gonna be. Because if a woman's not having sex with you, you're not gonna want to keep her around. And a woman knows if she don't have sex with you, you're not gonna want to stay around. So you got to come to this intermediary point, which is usually resources for sex. And that keeps you together. So it's prostitution. But yeah, see, this is like okay, let's say, and I'd say even in like higher end hookers, you're not gonna, because it's gonna be clear in the culture. So let's say like with let's say even if it's a high end hooker, let's say she's making $10,000, $20,000 a pop. Well, see, when she starts talking, it's going to be clear that she's a hooker because she's not going to be. Something's going to give off that she's not very intelligent, or she never, sought out intelligence to be able to work a good job to make good money, or to get to get the education to get in with men who have good jobs and good money. But then she doesn't. Okay, she doesn't have a stable man, but yet she's wearing these expensive clothes with expensive makeup and probably driving an expensive car, lives in an expensive part of town. Well, everybody's gonna know how you're getting the money. it's kind of like the same thing with a guy. When a guy, he's clearly not educated, you don't ever see or hear of him working a job. His friends aren't anything to speak of, but he's driving a Rolls Royce. There's a good chance he's doing something illegal. It's just the reality of it for people on the outside looking at him. So they go, "Ooh, I don't know. I really ain't," because those people are not stable in their life profession and work in their life culture. They're not going to be stable. All their life is kind of built off of something relatively underhanded. So it's just a matter of time before they get caught. And it's like, for anybody who's built something of their life, they're going to look at them and say, it's not really worth me getting caught with them and then jeopardizing what I've built in my life. So they don't blend. You see what I'm saying? Birds of a feather are going to flock together. And the sad part is, because I'm thinking about that one movie now. I think Jennifer Lopez, that washed up POS, Jennifer Lopez, she really needs to just grow somewhere, because she's just stuck hoping she can stay 19 forever. But she was some movie about the strippers, and they were like drug men and all this stuff. Like, see, the thing is, when people stay in that class of people, like let's say strippers, when they stay in that class of strippers, see, they're thinking all it's going to take is just, oh, I just get a bunch of money and then everything will be okay. Everything will be okay, and nobody will know that I ever did this. Well, anybody who's going to put two thoughts together are going to know, look, like, you're not educated. You don't do anything. I mean, you're not educated. When you talk, you never really, get to anything. I don't hear what you do or what you like, your hobbies. Like, you're, and then you look like this, and you're always looking, above average, perfect. You're a prostitute. You see what I'm saying? Like, see, but the prostitutes, they can't see that. So like, they like whores, they can't see that other side of it. Like, they try to, but they can't. Like, when they pull up, to a date with Prada bags and and Gucci heels and Gucci belts. I mean, just dressed like just way over the top with a tight body. Okay, now maybe if she was fat and ugly, it would probably be easier to say, oh, wait, maybe she just has a man, and and the man's doing this, or maybe she has a good job and she's buying on her own. Maybe it's all fake. But if she's hot, if she's like legitimately physically hot, and then everything else is like above the average, makeup, hair, your clothes, she's not wearing anything less than $1,000 worth of clothes, and that's like on a bad day. And then she's driving a nice car. Oh, everybody's gonna know she's a prostitute. But see, the prostitute can't see that. She can't see that next level of thinking a lot of times, or else she wouldn't do it. Because, okay, the only reason she's doing this, I'm going on another side tangent. The only reason she's dressing like this is because she's thinking, in her brain, she's thinking that if she looks like this, then a higher quality male who has a great job will think that he can keep up with funding her lifestyle. You see, everything a woman does is based off of how high she thinks she can climb financially with a man to fuel her life, to fuel the lifestyle that she wants. Everything. Now, some women, they just luck out and, they're naturally born with great genetics. Others, they're not born with great genetics, so maybe they can, cut and inject and, draw and, boost themselves up. And some are just flat out ugly. They're just stuck. So they've accepted it. But that was a huge side rant to the main topic. The main topic, man, like, if you're looking for a whore, don't hang out with married people. I'd say that. And that's not like, generally, I'd say, because a lot of married people, they're into swinging and all that stuff. But generally speaking, if you're looking for a whore, don't hang out with people who have all their kids by one with the same parent, mother and father. Don't hang out with people who've been married and for years and have nice, because all their friends are going to be married for years and blah blah blah. Like I said, like attracts like. If you're looking for a whore, hang out with women who go out the clubs with other women. You see what I'm saying? Hang out with those women. Because women, when they have a good man at home, there's no reason for them to want to go out to a club. They don't like to go out to clubs, okay? And if you're looking for a long-term relationship, Don't hang out with women who have stripper friends. Don't hang out with women whose friends are always single, whose friends can never keep a man, whose friends are always getting drunk or making a fool of themselves. And that's just it. That's it, man.